Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
This is Shayna Baszler, and you're watching Going In Raw.
This is the knockout artist, Cassius Ohno, and you're Going In Raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson, and available wherever podcasts can be found. We film these live on the Twitch, but if you're watching us on YouTube, if you want a free and easy way to help support Going In Raw, man, just hit that like button. Just do it once or an odd number of times to show your support. Let's try to get this one up to
3, 5, 7, 9, or a number ending in any of those digits.
Oh, whoa, that was too much info right there, man. You just threw a lot of numbers at me. I'm not ready to process them all.
Give me a number. I'll tell you if it's odd or even, Steve.
830.
You said 830, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's not a number.
No, I gave you a number. It's 830. Is that odd or even?
837?
Huh?
837 is a odd number.
Well, that wasn't the number I said. Anyway.
Well, it sounded like it's what you said because you weren't being clear.
Hey, listen, man, we got all sorts of bonus content. I'm excited about this today because today, for patrons, $5 and up, and for YouTube channel members, we've got a brand new bonus episode show called Pin, Lose, and Draw.
Or draw.
No, it's and draw. I changed that just for legalities. Pin, lose, and draw. For legal reasons, I changed the name.
Why? The game show doesn't exist anymore.
I'm sure somebody owns that IP. Anyways,
and you really changed. It's not. It was win, lose, or draw. You changed win to pin. That's enough of a change.
I wish you wouldn't yell at me in front of everybody. That's my wish.
Well, you got to run these things by me before you announce them publicly.
You know what's funny is that I think last night, number one, I sent you the picture. And in the picture, it says, and draw.
Yeah, I didn't really pay that close attention to that.
Exactly,
I saw the picture
man.
you did. I was like, oh, that looks good. I thought you were sent to me for I could look at the picture, not because
I've already drawn the picture.
Verbiage.
It says, and draw, and it can't be changed.
Yeah, I can. It's on your iPad. You can just like erase it and put or. Easy.
Oh, now you're Caesar. Pin, lose, or draw. Okay?
All right.
Just to get this over with. And I got my iPad set up, and then Larson's going to feed me a wrestling thing.
Yeah, I'll do it
and then,
in the chat here on what's it called? Zoom.
And then chat then gets to, as I draw it, the first person to figure out what I'm drawing will get a point, and we'll do I don't know how many of them. So that seems like it'll be a lot of fun, and it's for our patrons, $5 and up, and YouTube channel members. So I'm looking forward to that today later on.
Man, all the wrestling personalities are live streaming. Paige is streaming some Animal Crossing right now.
Page, like WWE Page? Oh, that's nice. Thursday in the afternoon. That's the time to do it, man. Apparently. Hey, we gotta look. I stack our show up against anybody, man.
Yeah. Same.
Anyways, want to give a shout out here to Pablo Machado and Jonathan Williams, their new patrons. So want to say thanks to them. Appreciate that for the support.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, absolutely. So anyways, let's talk about some NXT, man.
Let's.
I ate my breakfast and had some coffee at the beginning, and I felt like $1 million. I felt really bad yesterday. I still feel really bad for all the people who got released, and it seems like we might be getting some more today, and that all sucks. But I do feel like NXT last night sort of brought me back to what I always liked about NXT. It brought some funny, it brought some weird, it brought some unintentionally funny and weird. And that's the kind of stuff that I really dig into. Regardless, though, it does kind of feel like, with the exception perhaps of this lingering takeover match type thing with Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream, which itself has taken a weird detour. With the exception of that, it does feel like they're trying to freshen up some of their creative direction. We finally saw Killer Kross make a move of some sort, and Scarlett Bordeaux. We got a cool little video package of Keith Lee that I thought they should do more of that kind of stuff. We saw Fantasma, El Hijo del Fantasma, have a video package. I thought that NXT is sort of putting some new pieces in place that I really kind of appreciated because it did feel like it was getting stale for a while.
It did. I'm still not sure how I feel about the creative going with this Dakota Kai Tegan Nox feud. They just brought Raquel Gonzalez kind of out of nowhere out to join forces with Dakota Kai with no backstory as to why leading up to it on NXT television. And now we got Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart joining forces. It just kind of feels like, well, we don't want them to have their blow off yet, Kai and Nox. Let's just toss some more pieces in play there to kind of extend it a bit more. I mean, I like Shotzi. I think she's great. She's been doing great in NXT so far. And if this helps her, get in a more prominent position on the card, cool. I still feel like they're putting in the legwork to motivate these alliances. They just will say, "Oh, here's your friend." And like half the storylines Candice LeRae has been involved in is like, "Well, she's helping out her friend." Mm-hmm. And like the first indication that we're getting that we're friends is when she comes out the first time and they say, "Oh, she's helping out her friend." I just want a little bit more to it,
The genesis, the seed, if you will, I agree with you in terms of they never really said like what Raquel Gonzalez's motivation in helping out.
Well, they did in a promo after the fact where it's like, you've been passed over. She said that to Dakota Kai, you've been passed over. So have I. So we're going to join forces so that doesn't happen again, essentially.
At that point, the pieces fall into place, though, because,
Yeah, I guess. But like when she debuts and helps out Dakota Kai, we're just like, okay, I think this is Reina Gonzalez. She has a new name, but why?
Yeah. Well,
and like Shotzi comes out and helps Tegan Nox, which, that makes
Shotzi's
sense. Great.
That makes sense.
But why?
Well, no, that makes sense because last week, Raquel Gonzalez 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, she cost her the gauntlet match. So that made sense. Oh, and that's right. what I liked about it is that perhaps like you're absolutely right. When we watched the was that that was a Takeover Portland, right?
Takeover.
Yeah. Yeah, we both agreed that the ending to that match was a bit wonky, but I do like that, they're using Raquel Gonzalez, her presence to elongate the feud between Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox and to sort of be the genesis of other feuds, bringing Shotzi Blackheart in. I think that's when they're at their strongest. I
forgot about the Shotzi stuff. I forgot about that.
Whenever that's when I think that's what I think. Now I'll be the guy who does this. AEW is so strong is that you've got 30 people and they all cross paths somehow. And NXT used to do a really good job of that. That's what I hope they're going to get back to doing. And I did sort of see that bringing Shotzi in for this. Because Raquel, I always want to say Reina, because Raquel had, cost her that gauntlet match.
I forgot about that gauntlet match spot.
That's okay. I had forgotten the entire conversation we had about why Prince Balor doesn't like the letter C. Mm-hmm. I had to tweet that out this morning, and somebody reminded me, and I didn't even remember we had that conversation. So
yeah, we had the conversation. We tweeted it out. I was like, we've had this conversation before.
Didn't remember anything.
I think it was on a live stream too.
Yeah. In one ear, out the other. Too much going on. You know?
Like I said, that's as I said before we started. I still feel like I got a bit of a hangover, not from booze, from all that happened yesterday. Sunday I wasn't paying that close attention today.
I think all my anxiety just was like happened yesterday over that stuff, and then I woke up today and I was like, "Oh, cool! I get to watch NXT," because I saw some of the stuff that had happened. And we should talk about this because it's on the thumbnail, and because. You know what? Like it's not like anything so dramatic happened that it has to go on the thumbnail. So in that case, I usually just revert to what I really appreciated, and is actually a pretty big question because if they had only shown us Dexter Lumis in that squash match, well, it wasn't that much of a squash, but it was basically a squash match.
Yeah, it was basically. Tahuti did not get much offense.
Against Tahuti Miles. That would have been. It'd have been like, okay, cool. Well, they're just doing that thing.
Yeah. Why was he creeping? He was creeping.
What?
Yeah. He was creeping with a dramatic spotlight during that tag match.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I don't know.
What are they doing with that guy? And creeping. Who was he staring at? Because it was a tag match.
Yeah, no.
So like, is he going to start taking on tag teams now or something?
Was he upset that he wasn't mystery partner for Matt Riddle?
I don't know. I like it though. You know what I like about it? I just like it simply because it means they see something in Dexter Lumis, and I'm a big Dexter Lumis fan.
Yeah, he's great.
It's funny because I didn't really pay too close attention last week to that finish the arm triangle.
Well, they're calling it the Anaconda Vice, which I'm not sure it's exactly the Anaconda Vice, but whatever.
Yeah, I thought the Anaconda Vice was like more on the floor.
It kind of is. CM Punk used to do it.
Yeah. Anyways, I really love how he applies it.
Yeah,
and only because
we've had into it. It's cool.
We've had like a counter sort of example with Hager, which it just looks lazy. With Dexter doing it, looks like a serial killer, like like choking out, like killing a person.
Yeah.
like this dude is straight out of the movies.
So I'm looking at video here of CM Punk putting the Miz in the Anaconda Vice, and you sort of have a wrist lock and a headlock put together.
Oh yeah, he brought it in like okay, yeah.
But the other person's arm was like this.
Yeah, okay.
They would lock it in.
Yeah. It looks great though, and he's so firmly in character, and he's so very creepy, and they've packaged him perfectly. What like? Where do you think they're gonna like speculate? Where do you think they're gonna go with this guy?
I have no idea. I mean, it's got to be someone involved in that tag match. I just don't know who.
Yeah. I mean, Matt Riddle is probably given that Matt Riddle, he has for now a tag team partner who doesn't want to wear the title. There was a great little promo bit where Timothy Thatcher was like, I don't want the title. I'll be here in the meantime until Pete can be here.
Yeah, then we'll sort things out, is what he said.
I can't think of a more diametrically opposed personality to Dexter Lumis than Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool.
Maybe they'll have the occasional tag matches with Riddle and Thatcher. In the meantime, have Riddle occupied full time, or more so full time, with Dexter Lumis.
Yeah. And then of course we had the other fairly significant occurrence was we had the debut of the aforementioned Timothy Thatcher. I love this guy. I think we watched like one of his matches against. We watched one of his matches. I forgot who it was against.
I don't know.
It was like an OTT match.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there?
I was looking. Carl Anderson put a video up. I was trying to see what it said. It says Machine Gun in it. So Machine Gun Carl Anderson's coming back.
Okay. But anyways, I really like what I saw from Timothy Thatcher. He's
very old timey.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised. You speculated the vaudevillains were time travelers. Like, no, it's just a gimmick. If someone told me that Timothy Thatcher actually did travel back in time for the 1930s, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I was when I was in the shower, I was thinking of gimmicks for him, backstories for him. Like maybe he was raised during Prohibition, and like his formative years, like from 15 to 25, let's say, was Prohibition, because it was about 10 years. It was like a 10-year period. And then he's very successful. He's got himself a wife. He's got himself a Model T. Things are going great. And then the second Prohibition ends, he is introduced, because he's never been to a speakeasy before. He's like, no, those are illegal. But then when the bubbly starts flowing, he gets introduced to the liquid courage, and it ruins everything. And he ends up stumbling deep down into a mine of some sort, because that's how low he goes. He ends up being working hard labor in a mine, because that's what everybody did back then, I think. And then I might be confusing that with 1890s. I don't know.
Well, it depends on what part of the country you're in.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously California, it was the mid-1800s.
Okay.
I think it was a little bit later in Nevada when they had the silver rush there. Okay. So depending where you're at the country, it's a different time frame. Anyway, those continue.
So, okay, that's a good question. Isn't he from here?
No, I don't know if he's from here. He used to wrestle around here.
He can't. Okay.
He wrestled for SPW and some in the Northern Cut. Like fairly recently, he wrestled for APW a lot.
Where is he actually from?
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
Because he's like an indie legend in Europe.
He was born in Sacramento.
Okay. All right.
He was born in 1983. He's younger than us. He's 37 years old.
Yeah. He's great, though. So I think that he stumbled into a mine where there was some sort of vortex in space-time, and then he shows up here.
He made his pro wrestling debut in 2005 for guess what promotion?
Supreme Pro Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's rad. See, we have a connection. Just like apparently one of our friends has a connection with Camille, which I didn't know about.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That was weird. I'll have to ask him about that.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, so yeah. Anyways, let's just go ahead and break this episode down. Kicked off with Finn Balor versus Fabian Eichner. Of course, Finn is picking off these Imperium fellows one by one by one.
Yeah, making quick work of him until he in like a year and a half from now when he finally gets to fight Walter. That probably won't go so well for old Finn, but who knows? Maybe by that point they'll be ready to get that title off Walter.
Yeah.
This is a fun match though. It was Eichner utilizing his strength a couple times. He just literally threw Finn across the ring.
Yeah.
And then Finn using his quickness and his acumen to get the W. Marcel Bartel tried as he might to interfere. Couldn't sway the match in Eichner's favor. So at one point, where was it here? The ref's checking on Eichner after he hits a powerbomb on Finn, I believe, and Marcel Bartel pulls Finn out of the ring, punches him. Finn falls to the ring steps. Eichner goes for running knee into Finn. Finn moves, so Eichner knees the ring steps, and then Finn hits a sling blade on Marcel, falls with a shotgun drop kick into the barricade. Eichner then kind of ramps Finn into the apron, goes for the double springboard moonsault, misses. Finn hits the shotgun dropkick, coup de grace, 1916 to pick up the W.
But yeah, it seems like he's going to have a couple detours if later on in the episode is to be believed. So after that, we had a video package of Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. After that, we had a Charlotte promo.
This was really good.
Yeah, this is well done.
This was really good. So she says everybody in WB talks a big game, but no one backs it up like her. She says she's going to do what no one has done before, is dominate 3 eras, 3 generations, if you will. Past, present, future. And then she lays out everybody she's beat, which is basically everybody.
Yeah.
So it makes the case that she's been the most dominant woman over the last 5 years. She didn't beat Rousey, but she beat the heck out of her at Survivor Series. She beat Trish. She said, I've beaten all the other horsewomen. I've beat Alexa, beaten everybody, and now I'm on to the future.
Yes.
I'm on to beating up the future.
Yeah.
And she says, I have my eye on Mia Yim. She says, she was my first match at NXT. And they cut the footage of Charlotte's debut in NXT in a match against Mia Yim. Says, I'm going to give her the first chance at a match against me. I know I got to face Io. I'm sure Rhea wants another piece. And then Regal, line them up.
Yep.
I'll beat them all. It was really well done.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff. It was good stuff.
In terms of like a concise mission statement of what what her motivation is and what she's going to do, it was really well done.
After that, we had a fairly quick match: Aaliyah versus Xia Li, and Aaliyah. So somebody had beaten up Xia Li prior to her qualifying match, and Aaliyah says, "It was me, Austin. It was me all along." She cops to it, and so that just sets off Xia Li, obviously, for this match.
Xia Li even more.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is Xia Li ended up winning this in fairly quick fashion.
The bit where Aaliyah was hiding behind the ref, that was pretty funny.
So yeah. After that, we had a cruiserweight title tournament video package for the interim cruiserweight title, and then we had a really terrific match. The first one of these. Fun. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus a very motivated, determined Akira Tozawa. There's nothing like when a guy is a really good wrestler and he hasn't really had an opportunity to show that lately. And we got that from Akira Tozawa, who just brought it all. And this is a really terrific match.
It was a fun match. It was a really fun match. I could see Tozawa do that cannonball off the apron. That's what it is. Call it senton, call it cannonball. That's not what that's what it is. Despite what some commentators might say. And he does that, sends Swerve into the barricade, follows a missile, drop kick in the ring, gets a 2 count. This next bit was really cool, where Kira locks in an octopus stretch. Swerve escapes that, but as soon as he does, Tozawa's into a dragon sleeper. He's like on his back, dragon sleeper. Swerve tries to get out of that. Akira just transitions to a guillotine. Just like really good fluid wrestling. And then Swerve powers him up, hits a brain buster. Swerve hits a house call later on. Akira kicks out of that. So Swerve sets up for his finish in the corner. We just kind of like the reverse powerbomb deal. Akira kicks out of that. He belly to belly Swerve into the corner, hits a kick, and the top rope senton for the win. Afterwards, he has an interview, and he just says he must keep fighting, he must keep winning, because then he'll be champion again.
Yeah, and it was a simple, effective promo, but it was again just delivered with such intensity,
passion.
Yeah, and after that we had a cool little video package. It was short, but it was very effective for El Hijo del Fantasma. I think going forward, I'll probably just refer to him as Fantasma.
Fantasma. That's how they were referring to him in shorthand too. Yes.
Yeah, they were exactly. So they talked about his lineage, and they had a bunch of really cool animated still photos.
That was really well done
from his upbringing.
It was very. What was that documentary called about Robert Evans?
Oh,
that's when they did that.
Yeah.
Where they had the background and foreground moving at different rates and stuff.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it looked great. They really packaged him like $1 million. He had like a nice suit on with his lucha mask on. Yeah, he looked
different
great.
than what he wore in AAA too.
Yeah. So that was really cool. After that, we had Tegan Knox versus Raquel Gonzalez. Finally, Tegan Knox. She's going to get some revenge for that cage match that Raquel Gonzalez was interfering all sorts of ways in.
Although Raquel Gonzalez was basically destroying Tegan for, I don't know, a vast majority of the match. It wasn't until Shotzi Blackheart comes out, because Dakota Kai gets involved. Shotzi runs out, hits her with her helmet. Raquel takes her eyes off Tegan Knox, goes to Shotzi, tries to choke slam her onto the apron, but that allows Tegan the opportunity to roll up Raquel to get the win.
Yeah. After that, we had a really well done Keith Lee video package. This is the kind of stuff that I like to see, and I don't think it has to be relegated to just like origin stories. I think that you can do this kind of stuff. Like, dude, I'm really surprised. And again, I'm not sure what the contracts say for like the WWE programming if they want to do like live stuff. But like they gave us a glimpse at that Drew McIntyre thing. Why not just run the whole damn thing on Raw? I mean, I don't remember how long because that was like part of a bigger thing on the network, right?
Yeah, I think those are generally about a half hour, right?
Yeah, which is not that. I mean, in a 3-hour span.
Chronicle? Yeah, I think the Chronicles are generally about a half hour.
Toss some commercials in there. I mean, you're chewing up at the most 40 minutes of screen time, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they ran the whole Rumble match, which is way longer than a half hour. But I wonder if now going forward, or post-Mania, I mean, we remain to be seen what they're going to do on SmackDown, but if Raw's any indications, they're kind of done with the archival stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But, they have a lot of other stuff they could put together.
Oh, yeah.
Documentary type stuff, which I think would I don't know, it varies up the product, and it's compelling, really well done stuff. So Keith Lee talked about, how his this is not surprising at all, his grandma, everybody, so many grandmas. This is the power of wrestling, man. My mother-in-law's mother, Lacey's grandma, was into the graps. She loved it. She loved it. She was into it. My mother-in-law always talks about how like she would just be like yelling at the TV, right? And like she was like, "Mom, you're crazy." And so Keith Lee was talking about how his grandma got him into wrestling, but his family hated that he wanted to do wrestling. So at 20, did he say he got kicked out of the house?
He said he had to steal the keys to his own car to do a show that Mick Foley was on.
Like 5 hours away or something.
5 hours away. And then, he got kicked out of his house. And then,
and he was homeless for a spell.
Homeless for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
And he circled back and said, you want to talk about sacrifice? I've basically sacrificed everything to follow my dream. Yeah.
I thought this was really, really well done. Like it was cool. Like Lacey was sitting next to me, like working on her jewelry stuff, and she would pipe up every once in a while. And what did she say about Dexter? That's right. So like she liked the Keith Lee stuff. Then we had Dexter Lumis versus Tahuti Miles, who he's got to be like number 2 on that list, right? People who have benefited most from the pandemic. Tahuti Miles.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of work.
So did he have the like his character stuff in his Raw matches?
No.
He didn't, right?
I don't remember the overalls now.
He came off on the main roster matches as much more generic wrestler.
Yeah, he had gear as opposed to the overalls. Yeah.
Yeah, he had like the overalls. He had like a flannel thing tied around his waist or something, and then like some cool looking shoes. And even when he came out, he had like a cool hat and sunglasses.
Yeah, he had his pose.
Yeah, he had his pose, exactly. Just let him do that on main roster. Like, you don't have to signal that these people are jobbers. You don't have to do that.
You can give jobbers personality. The jobbers that stand out, the jobbers who have personality.
Right, yes, exactly. Then we care more about the match.
Remember, I don't want to talk about James Ellsworth, but remember when Braun had that first squash match against him, they gave him an interview. That interview got him a job.
Yes, I know. Like, it makes the product more lively. You get Pineapple Pete over there in AEW.
Jericho talks trash about Pineapple Pete one week. Next week, Shug D has a match.
Exactly.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. You're telling stories then. Anyways, story ended here pretty quickly for Tahuti. He got a little bit of offense in, but Loomis drops him the spine buster, hits the side effect right into, they called the Anaconda Vice. It was an arm triangle, and Miles taps.
But his Dexter's face and his demeanor.
He doesn't blink.
But like when he has it locked on, it's like low key orgasmic. It's like what's his face, Anton Chigurh. That's what like it was when he's choking out the dude at the beginning of the movie.
What it reminds me is when heel Kevin Owens would do something extremely violent.
Yeah,
he'd have like a disassociative trance about him.
Yeah,
and that's what it reminds me of.
I like that when he
present in his body.
When he finished him off, Tom Phillips says, "Is he even happy he got this win?"
That was good.
That was good. So no, like during this match when Dexter started with the clubbing blows, and then at one point he had him like Tahuti down on the ground. Lacey looks up. She's like, "This is just unsettling." She's like, "With no crowd there, it's just like he's savaging this person." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's great."
And that's why Dexter. I'm actually happy they actually saved Dexter Lumis for this kind of era of wrestling because it's perfect for him.
It's perfect for him. It's perfect. Although it'd be kind of cool if they have like just a dead silent crowd, like who's freaked out by it, and then you throw one Wilhelm scream in there.
Hold on, I have a Wilhelm scream on my phone. I can pull that up.
You just did it perfectly, though.
No, it's not as good as the real thing. Anyways, continue.
So at that point, we had another shot. Go do it again. I was talking. That's perfect. That's good. So after that we had I forget if I even referenced the first one. I probably missed it.
No, I didn't write them down because they were just shots of Velveteen Dream backstage waiting.
He was waiting on his couch with a light bulb uncomfortably close to his face.
And he was supposed to have a face-to-face with Adam Cole, go to commercial, come back, and Adam Cole's in his backyard again.
Yeah, they really need to send him a DSLR. Just run him a DSLR because this front-facing iPhone 6 from like 5 years ago camera thing that he's using, it just doesn't look good.
Has Adam Cole been in the arena on any of these empty arena shows yet? I don't recall. It's been several weeks.
Wasn't when Velveteen Dream had his promo?
From
the Bird's Nest.
Yeah, I guess so. That was the first PC show.
They were all
there,
in
right?
there, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. But he's just chilling. He's just rattling these promos off. Like he did this in less than 20 minutes, probably weeks ago. Like all these promos,
yeah,
were all took place within like the span of 20 minutes, and he's done for like the month basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he said, and the great thing about this one, he starts talking about. He's always got a theme of some sort, and this one he starts talking about reality. And like I think he's using the pandemic to talk about the new reality of life and how the reality right now is protecting the NXT championship so that I don't know, it doesn't go to weirdo Velveteen Dream or something.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
He says he's worried about protecting reality, and the reality of our world is that no one deserves an NXT title shot.
He said, "Listen up, stupid."
Yeah.
He said stupid. Oh, so effective.
And he says, well, I'm not going to worry about you, Velveteen. There's other things to focus on, like Undisputed Era getting their titles back, and they'll be one step closer to becoming whole again.
Yeah.
When they all have belts. And then we get Velveteen Dream doing a promo from a podium. Why does he seem like he's bored?
Because I think he is. I think that everybody sort of figured that by this time he'd be on main roster But he also realizes that now is not the time to do a call up. It really isn't. You don't want to do that. He just seems
so, because like when before he got hurt, it seemed like Patrick Clark, Velveteen Dream won the same. He was that convincing in that role.
Yeah.
Now he just seems like he's going out there reciting lines.
I honestly
that
wonder,
level of conviction he used to have just isn't there right now.
I wonder, dude, do you think it might be that he understands the reaction that he can get from a crowd, which is namely like a little bit of uncomfortability, some humor, some gasping. He likes the shocking moment. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And he can't have, like, the most shocking moment he can have now is on Twitter, where he's referencing Kathy Kelly having been in a relationship with Finn Balor, which he did today, and it's hilarious. But that's the extent of the reaction he can get these days because he can't get one from the crowd. And I wonder if that's what it is. It's a lot different. It's like, I'm just throwing this out because it was always something that I remembered. But, when George Lucas would direct those people in Star Wars, the prequels, and like Liam Neeson's like, what am I supposed to be working with here? You have me literally in a green room, and that's all I have to work with. Half the time,
louder, more intense.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if it's just a matter of he's out of his element and he's more comfortable with the crowd. Maybe
that could be. That's entirely possible.
I'm just throwing that out there because it seems different. It's not as, and maybe he understands. Look, man, they want to put this title on me, but there's not going to be anybody there like to make it a real moment.
Yeah, it did. It feel like even if all that is true, I just feel like he's really telegraphing all that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wonder if just sometimes it's not easy to find the motivation within, and so he doesn't have like a choice but to be a little out of it,
aloof.
That's what it seems. Maybe that could be.
Anyways, he stepped up to a podium, which is brought out.
Mm-hmm.
Said it's typical of Adam Cole no-show. Why are you playing video games? Dream says, I think a lot of Adam Cole. He fancies himself some kind of mastermind of the Undisputed Era, the leader. He is the last champion, still Undisputed Era. He puts over Adam Cole's title reign, says he might be the greatest ever. Remember that. When it's all said and done, he wants to remember 2 words. In the background, you see Finn Balor creeping.
Yeah, it was great because they had him framed perfectly. Like Dream was doing his thing, and then he sort of very naturally turned his head, and as he turned it, it opens up this side, and you see Finn just there.
Looking perturbed, like annoyed.
Creeping. Just annoyed, too. So Dream says, you remember 2 words, dream over. And then Finn's lurking back there, steps up to Velveteen Dream, and says, I don't know you. I don't like you. I've never said a single word to you. But I'm going to speak to you now that when you speak of the greatest NXT champion ever, you're looking at him. And if you got a problem with that, we could take it up. And then Dream says, all right, well, essentially, let's have a match next Wednesday. He said, Finn, be a gentleman and pick me up for our date next Wednesday night, which is his way of saying, I want to bone you. I mean, have a match with you.
Match.
Probably. Maybe he did mean sex. Finn is a very sexy man. Anyways, another sexy man, Malcolm Bivens.
You got that right, making reference to new edition member and solo artist in his own right, Johnny Gill. I love that.
That's good. That's really good.
That popped me.
Yeah.
The Johnny Gill reference. Anyways, he says, whoever wins the tag titles tonight, whether it be Undisputed Era or Riddle Mystery Partner, if they retain, those titles are going from over your shoulders to around the waist of Rinku and
Shuriv, I think.
And then they each talked.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I like when they talk. I don't understand what they're saying, but it's very powerful.
It is. After that tag title match, Roddy Strong and Bob Fish. Apparently, Kyle O'Reilly, he's a diabetic, and there's some concern, maybe on his part, maybe on NXT's part, that given what's going on in the world, he might be more susceptible to potentially contracting the virus, and therefore he wasn't on TV this week.
Where did you hear that from?
I read it online somewhere.
Oh, okay, cool. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I just figured like somebody's always injured in the Undisputed Era. Well, usually it's Bobby Fish, but
usually it's Bob Fish.
I mean, the way all those guys wrestle, it's like it's not surprising at all that like people are getting injured. But that's interesting.
Here it is. This WrestleZone has the story. Let's see what the source is from. And probably, I would guess, Meltzer.
Okay, that's interesting. So anyways, Undisputed Era comes out first, and then Matt Riddle comes out, and we get to see the first Timothy Thatcher. He debuts, and Matt Riddle throws up the bro fist, and Thatcher looks at it, and he just sort of eye rolls. There was a lot of eye rolling from Timothy Thatcher. Tonight. It was great. Last night it was great. So he like doesn't, do the bro fist. He just storms down to the ring. And man, this guy is unique. He totally, you're absolutely right. He totally has old timey vibe, but I love how he moves. It looks, man, I love Roderick Strong is one of my favorite actual like wrestlers. To watch a Roderick Strong match, it comes as close as I can think of to a guy who's actually doling out violence and taking violence. Roderick Strong, he comes off as so legit when he's selling. Timothy Thatcher looks like a fighter. He looks like he's been in several actual wars. And man, the way he moves around, it's awkward and stiff and weird, but it looks like he's doling out pain. And I really, really enjoyed it. It looks like even like his trunks, how it says Thatcher on the back, it looks like he just threw those letters on individually without much thought as to like alignment or getting him in the right order. They just look like they're thrown on there. This guy looks like he has nothing that he wants to do other than fight. And that's, man, I love seeing him in there.
Everything about him screams legit, badass, essentially. Yeah. He walks super stiff. Mm-hmm. Just like literally everything. It's like, okay, this guy is legit.
It looks like he doesn't care that everything in his body hurts. He wants more. He wants more.
It looks like everything in his body does hurt.
Yeah.
And they booked this match to put the spotlight on Timothy Thatcher because Matt Riddle starts the match. Thatcher doesn't get in basically till the very end. He gets the hot tag, and then he gets the win, tapping out Roddy to a Fujiwara armbar. He's got some great looking belly to bellies. They look pretty legit, as in he's doing all the work. Yeah. And I loved. It's funny because I know this was like held for the .com, and hopefully they run it on TV next week. But there is a promo after this match. So at the end of the match, he makes Roderick Strong tap out with the armbar, and Matt Riddle hands him over the title, and he looks at the title. He's got a big smile on his face. Afterwards, they do a promo where Thatcher basically says, "Hey, man, I know, we've known each other for a long time now, but out of respect to Pete Dunne, you hold on to those titles because you won them with him. I'm just substituting for now," which I thought was really cool. But he comes across as intensely mild-mannered. Yes.
Like he's not coming across like, crazy guy. And I'm going to make this comparison in the most complimentary way possible because it's difficult to make this comparison without bringing up some nasty stuff. He reminds me of Chris Benoit, but a more human version of Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
And I mean that even separate from, I think it was, what's his name? Jay Snowden. Are you familiar with him? He's a journalist.
Familiar.
He's done some wrestling journal. Yeah. So he said when the Benoit documentary came out on Twitter, he said something like, Benoit was never really more than a mid-carder, and I don't agree with this necessarily, but I think it's a valid point. It could be debatable. Benoit was never more than a mid-carder because because he could never convincingly portray a real human being. Benoit was always rabid Wolverine, scary guy, like with the scary face, and he was always intense. I kind of disagree with that in some ways, but in other ways, I kind of understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I think I understand the point. But
Timothy Thatcher looks like a very humanized version of kind of that. You know what I mean?
I could see that. I also thought he was. You could look at him and say, "Oh, this guy could be Pete Dunne's older brother." They share
Thatcher?
a lot of the same.
We're talking about
same
Thatcher?
traits. Yeah, the same traits in that they're both come off as super intense, relatively soft spoken. But it's up my video. But in the ring, it's just all business.
Yeah. I thought I let it because even his little promo thing, he's not smooth at all. There's nothing about him, this man, that's smooth. He's not smooth. He doesn't look like a guy who wants to do public speaking, but he gets his point across, and he comes across as so realistic. Yeah. It's not like he's trying. That's the great thing, is that whenever it looks like somebody's trying, it comes off as not genuine. He comes off, stumbles and all, as like Kevin. You made a Kevin Owens reference with Dexter Lumis. Kevin Owens can stumble, and he just comes off as genuine. He doesn't look like he's trying. He's just talking, and when people talk, as you can tell from listening to us over the past couple of years, people stumble. Yeah.
Yes. Very much so.
After that, we had a Tommaso Ciampa promo where he did his old thing where he puts his camera down in selfie mode. He's in some darkened area of the Performance Center, and he says, promise is a promise. I'm done with Johnny. I'm done with Candace. We agreed. When it's over, and whoever wins, wins. And very reluctantly, because they made a big thing about, coming up next, will Tommaso Ciampa declare Johnny Gargano was
better man,
better man. And so in fact he does. He says, you know what? You are the better man. And as soon as he gets that out, as soon as that chapter is closed, he gets attacked from behind. You see two arms go and wrap around and bring him back, and the camera falls over. You just hear all sorts of bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. And then he gets tossed to the floor. And then there's a patent leather boot that steps in the frame, screen left. And then behind Ciampa, you see Killer Kross. I guess his new name's Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross.
Karrion. Do you know what Karrion is?
No. Please tell me.
It's when an animal dies, and it's like the rotting. It's what vultures eat. It's the rotting flesh of dead animals.
I love that. That is awesome. That is fantastic.
So he steps in the frame and like intensely gets in Ciampa's face and goes, "Tick-tock."
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I thought it was cool, man. I like that. That's cool. I kind of like that. Like, I didn't know that's what it meant. Now I do. I kind of like that better than Killer. It's kind of more gross.
It is gross.
Yeah.
It is gross.
Yeah. I like that name. That's cool.
He's already got a shirt up on WWE Shop. It's not very good, but he's got a shirt there.
Oh, I like the shirt. I think it seems on brand. Looks like an old
vulture on it, doesn't it?
Looks like an old Bray Wyatt shirt.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So, anyways, I thought it was really cool. Like, finally, get to see this guy.
I know.
And he's starting off at the top with Ciampa, like, basically the face of NXT.
Yeah, basically. But he's not the better man. That's what Gargano should start calling himself. I am the better man. Or you come out to Pearl Jam's better man. Can't find a better man than Johnny Gargano.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyways, let's answer some questions. What do you say?
Sure.
I've got Discord opened up here.
I'll have Patreon open up in just one moment.
Alex Housen wants to know, when are we getting the Lumis and Bugenhagen tag team?
Oh, gosh.
Don't really need it. Don't need that. He says we need it. I say we don't need it.
I don't think we need it. That's too extreme in the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, it might rip a hole in space-time, and Timothy Thatcher might go back through it to the 1930s.
Yeah. David Prock, it's hard to think of a real question after a day like yesterday. And with the thought of more releases on the way, morale in WWE has to be dangerously low. What are some of your favorite memories of those released today? We were there when Zack Ryder won that ladder match for the Intercontinental title. That was at the WrestleMania we went to in San Jose, in Santa Clara.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. That was really unexpected that he was going to win that match. Rusev, same at WrestleMania. Rusev rolling in on a damn tank.
That was awesome.
Holy cow, was that amazing.
Yeah, that was great.
Most of my favorite Carl Anderson memories are for him in Japan. So not really WWE.
Yeah, his what was it, a finals match against Okada?
Okada, yeah.
That was great stuff.
That ending sequence is fantastic.
I like their chemistry with AJ.
Oh yeah.
They all seem like they're having fun together. It's always fun to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Butts says, which famous photo would be best improved with a looming Dexter Lumis?
Oh,
that one from 2011 with like Punk and Bryan and Zack Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cultaholic just did a video on that picture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Performance Center picture. The one that Cal Jackson. Really, like that one picture with the 2009 hipster that's from 1941. Put Dexter Lumis in that.
Oh, how about this? How about Dexter Lumis's Performance Center picture? You put looming Dexter Lumis behind him.
There you go.
I might do that today, actually. I might
one
do
who's
that.
got the shirt that says "Property of WWE Performance Center" and back there behind him, looming Dexter Lumis.
Yeah.
Doc Henslow, with all the releases, do you think this may open WWE to innovate more, less cooks in the kitchen? It'll have to go through the same dude at the top. That's Vince McMahon. If he wants to innovate, innovation will happen. If he doesn't, we're gonna get the same old thing.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, given that they released the lady that did the Otis Mandy storyline, that didn't come from any of the brain trust. That came from a writer, and they got rid of those people. So I kind of don't have much faith, to be honest with you. Like, the only thing I was gonna say, and I know they still have producers there, but with them furloughing the producers, I was like, okay, I wonder if they might actually have the wrestlers start producing their own matches.
Or at least have more input. But then I can't remember, it was on Wrestling Observer or someplace else, read that the reason they furloughed that many producers is because they weren't doing live events.
Okay.
Not to say that what your situation is untrue, but yeah, I don't know if it's just a matter of they're not actually literally booking matches as they used to be in the same number.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sean Izzo was watching some Jericho interviews tonight, and he said that he would rather have a great story leading up to an okay match over an okay story leading up to a great match. As a viewer, which do you prefer?
Probably the great match with an okay story.
Same, because the match is what's supposed to be the payoff of the story you're building to.
Yeah, I know.
And if you have a great story leading up to a match, then you're not going to have a satisfying conclusion to that story.
I mean, yeah. Like, if you look at the AJ Nakamura thing in WWE, they had like 3 matches, I think. Mm-hmm. If those 3 matches were all killer, like super killer, I wouldn't care that the build was basically just a bunch of nut shots. Mm-hmm. You know?
Or sticking with the AJ feud, his feud with Samoa Joe, in terms of the out of ring story building segment.
The build stuff was pretty good, but it wasn't
a single one of those matches.
It wasn't punctuated by like a great match. Mm-mm. Yeah. Mm-mm. Alex C says, "How about this? Thatcher is a 30s noir detective. Lumis is the one case he just can't solve."
That's good.
Well, yeah, Lumis is like he's like the nation's first serial killer.
That's good. That's real good. That's real good.
We call him a serial killer.
Cereal, like breakfast. David Prock, do we need a manifesto from Dexter Lumis, or do you think he should remain silent? No talking.
No talking. Maybe some squealing. Maybe. That
being said, if there's like some weird website WWE starts and there's a manifesto, a written manifesto,
scrawled,
that's something else entirely. Yes.
Scratched.
Yes. Think John Doe from 7.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of stuff. That would be fine. He should not say a word.
Yeah.
Old Man Marcus. That's a great name. Meaning to ask for a while, but just keep postponing it. For a while now, WWE's entrance videos for various performers have been quite lackluster and boring, either just being the same all the time or some moving text. AEW, on the other hand, do the entrance videos like WWE used to. Do you prefer either? He says, I do love Rhea Ripley's entrance video she's had for 2 seconds where it's her face looking badass on it, but that vanished. I totally like the old school WWE way, how AEW, like, no one's got a better turn on the best friends. It's just a bunch of random crap, but it fits them so well.
Yeah.
Basically, everybody else, I think, in AEW has some combination of graphics and video of them. Not just like Braun literally is the TV static background with his name doing this.
I can't stand that. It's so lazy. It's so lazy. All those little things add to the product. Mm-hmm. It's like, you get geeked out over this stuff, man. Like, remember when Vince's Tron had that weird shot of him, like, it was like in like part black and white, and he's just staring at the camera with a menacing face. You want to see all that stuff. That's like the details of the entire package, man.
And if it is themed too.
And it tells the story of the character without having to see anything the character does.
Mm-hmm. Mike Demopoulos, so it sucks that all this talent's been released, accepting that this is an unforeseen circumstance. Isn't it also a spotlight on how silly it was for WWE to hoard talent and stockpile people they had no plans for? In a sense, yes. I guess if there's any, not in terms of them getting laid off, and a positive side effect of WWE's philosophy is signing up everybody they could and worrying about it later, is that hopefully everybody got paid really well. Given that the WWE were trying to sign people to keep them away from AEW, hopefully at least everybody understood their leverage and got some good money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as a business philosophy, WWE, it seems, I don't know, not the best idea when you just sign people and then you got, you're literally paying people to stay at home.
It's a shitty thing to do from the human perspective.
Yes.
I understand, obviously, the business philosophy behind it. And it's not like WWE is... They're not forcing people to sign these contracts.
Obviously not.
Who was it that said, man, and this was a question I kind of always had. It's like somebody said, I think it was on a Talk is Jericho, I forget. God, so it was Hardy and then it was Brody. I don't know if it was somebody else. Anyways.
Was it Mox?
I don't think it was Mox. It might have been Brody. I forget. Anyway, somebody said, when you go there, and I think it was a relatively throwaway reference. When you go to WWE, you understand, people who put their pen to paper, they understand the deal. They understand that when they go there, it's going to be an uphill climb, and it's going to be a very surreal one, a bizarre one, because putting in the most work, getting over by yourself won't even ensure that you're going to be rewarded with a higher spot.
Mm-hmm.
But and this is insane, part of the challenge is, can I make it in that system? No matter how Kafkaesque that system is, and it seemingly is, without rhyme or reason, the authority figures there will put you on trial, so to speak.
Yep.
Part of the challenge is still, can I maneuver this system?
Mm-hmm.
Because who doesn't want to say, you go to AEW, Tony Khan's going to be like, hey, man, good to see you. What ideas do you have? And you start listing ideas. Cool, go do them. There's no challenge in that.
Well, I think it's a different challenge where you got this very restricted platform in WWE where even if you do all the things you're supposed to do, grab the brass ring, get yourself over, drop incredible promos, put on good matches, it could lead you going absolutely nowhere. Whereas in AEW, you're in a position where everybody has the same latitude that you do, has the same amount of freedom you do to do what they do best, and you have to find your own way amongst a huge variety of really talented people to carve your own path and stand out. There's a bunch of people who are very good at establishing themselves as interesting characters, and all of them great in-ring workers. So
there's
it's a challenge,
no one to
challenge.
blame but yourself in AEW.
Yep.
And that was also one of the more interesting things. It's like, could you imagine, dude, spending years and years and years, you have all these great ideas, but you at least have, I don't know if you want to call it the luxury, but the comfort in knowing that, man, I have all these great ideas. He's shooting them all down. I can't succeed like that. Well, now, what if these ideas of yours, you get to execute? What if they're crap? So it is. I don't know. I don't even know how we got to this question. Oh, it was the benefits of being released. I don't know. I think it's hopefully everybody turns out okay.
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely hope so.
Let me hear on the Twitch. I'm seeing if Zondo says, so does Jericho just have a big Zoom shoot conference call with yesterday's releases, or is this going to preoccupy? I don't know what that means, but I don't know. We'll get some interesting Talk as Jericho's coming up. Hopefully one of them will be a Talk and Shop as Jericho edition.
Yeah.
because I'd love to hear what the Good Brothers have to say.
Yeah, I know. Beans from the East corrects me. Zach won in Mania in Dallas. We saw Daniel Bryan win in Santa Clara. That is right. My memory is just sucks today.
Oh, dude, it's all Swiss cheese.
It's bad today.
Yeah.
I'm just
Alex C again. Should Lumis wrestle fully nude? I think everybody should.
No, I think the pants are necessary.
I think the pants are great because
he should.
Yeah.
He should wrestle in some crazy gear, but he just wrestles in pants.
They're white pants too. That's what's great about him. I do think that he should have each week comes out. He has like a little blood splatter. It's like, am I seeing that right? Does he have a little blood splatter? Right?
Just a little bit, just like a little splash.
Yeah, we've got to mention this. I figured we mentioned it just sort of the tail end of our news brief today. Howard Finkel passed away, 69 years old. Yeah, that's sad.
The voice of my childhood wrestling watching, it was Howard Finkel.
Yeah, it's funny because somebody mentioned whenever you get into something, that time is usually for that person considered the golden era of whatever you're into. If you started watching The Simpsons around season 20, chances are you're going to compare season 20 to everything that came after it or before.
Yeah, you're going to think that's prime Simpsons.
Right, exactly. For me, because I didn't get into wrestling until college, it was always Lillian Garcia was my ring announcer. But, the more I watched retro content, the more I understood, oh, man, he was really good. It's always nice to see him.
Yep. And, back then it wasn't only Mean Gene who got an opportunity to show some personality. Finkel did as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And that's not something that happens enough.
Zondo also says Thatcher should wear old stained bandages and a burned out cigarette to complete the grizzled fighter look. Yeah.
That's good.
I agree.
Whatever you imagine, like an old, remember in that episode of The Nick where there's an underground wrestling thing?
Yeah.
Just that should be his package.
I know. I agree. Jonathan says, so Dexter Lumis murders people and Karrion Kross picks them apart the next week. Yeah, he's literally picking people apart.
Yeah. Ciampa came off as a bit of a shell of himself, so that makes sense.
White Brownie says Thatcher versus McIntyre would be a killer. Let's see here. Mr. Dub says, I hope they let Thatcher kill people. That's somebody else's gimmick right now. Jonathan says Tahuti Miles has a good look. Yeah, when they let him be a character, sure.
Yeah, his packaging's pretty cool.
Nikyle has an angry post here. I'm really angry wrestling fan right now. The fact that Vince McMahon released talent and other staff members at a time like this, Vince trying to keep his heartless TV company and investors happy by any means necessary, has he tarnished his reputation forever? He did that ages ago. This is just the latest, and this is completely just the little bit on the mountain of screwed up stuff that Vince McMahon has done. Are you kidding me?
Yep. This is just one of many.
Oh yeah, and then that's right. Roman Reigns announced that they're having twins. That's cool. That's good.
I know he kind of alluded to something when he did that Instagram video saying, you don't know my situation. You don't know if I have elderly family. You don't know if I have a new baby. You don't know anything. Well, now we know. Maybe part of his decision was informed by the fact that his wife is pregnant with twins.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Anyways, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We're going to get this one up, have some lunch, and then we'll come back maybe in an hour or so for
pin, lose, or draw.
Win, lose, and draw. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.